Welcome back to Truckin' Outdoors. By now, you've probably seen me out hunting and fishing in my big red sled. But I'm here in the garage. I'm doing something a little different today. I'm gonna show you another project that I'm working on. It's another hunting rig. I think it's cool. I think you guys will think it's cool. Let's take a look. Well, here she is. This is a 1995 military Humvee.
Yes! That's awesome!
The factory military Humvees come with a 6.2 liter Detroit diesel engine. Chevy 350 engine that they basically converted over into a diesel. It really isn't that good of an engine.
What a piece of junk!
But it's the government, so of course, it was the cheapest. That's why they went with it. Mine, as soon as I bought it, of course, blew up almost immediately. So I have gone ahead. I've dropped a 12 valve Cummins with a 6-speed Allison transmission behind it.
Damn!
Let's go around this rig and kind of look at some of the details. I started this project about 1.5 years ago. I had a shop, mechanic shop, actually put in the engine and the tranny, and then they hit a snag and just said, nope, I'm done. Sent it back. They didn't want to deal with it anymore. They got sick of it. So this is what I got back. This is basically how I got it back. The nice thing is that the big heavy stuff that I don't have the facilities to move are already in there, but there's a lot left to do. Yeah. These were 3 boxes of miscellaneous parts. Some of this stuff I know what it is. Like this is the heater valve, regulator valve. This goes back and forth. Oh, not very easily. Might need a new one of those, but that is the old engine harness from the Cummins engine. I'm gonna need a lot of these fittings for sensors. Like, you know, I don't know what that's for. That goes into a sensor. I'm gonna need it. So we're gonna figure that out. I don't know what that does. That looks important. Probably won't need that. Bracketry, gaskets, hose lines. I mean, it is a cornucopia of parts. Nice thing is I don't have to run to the junkyard. I just got all the junk right here. It's great. So the old 350 diesel motor that was in it was a V8, so it sat flat. Cummins engine is a vertical inline 6, so it is way taller and way longer. To be able to get this engine up underneath, we actually had to do a 3-inch body lift. It's a fairly simple system. It's just a lot of connections. It's a P-pump motor. This is highly sought after for all the truck pullers. In a normal engine, fuel pump is maybe only that big, and it's got one fuel line that comes out of the pump, and then it feeds all of the cylinders, one after another, off the same line. It's called a common rail fuel system. This has individual ones, so you can squirt fire juice right into each individual cylinders, and there is no loss of pressure at either one.
Cool. Fire! Fire! Fire!
If you want to look at the suspension, you're going to think of the suspension on a Humvee kind of as a 4-wheeler suspension. It's independent suspension, and this is the exact same thing on front and back. And it uses CV shafts that come down from the pumpkin that's in the middle, right there. CV shafts go on both sides. That's the same as front and back. Actually, brake calipers are right up off of the shaft on both sides. And the reason why they do that is so they get ground clearance all the way down. It gives you extra ground clearance. You don't have any pumpkins or frame or axles to hang up on. So these things can go over virtually anything.
The system like a true modern day Robin Hood.
Continuing around now, there is no frills in this at all. Buckle up, you know. safety third.
Safety third.
These rigs come factory as a 24-volt system. See? The 2 batteries would sit down in here. I'm not an electrical guy. That's what's gonna make this project so interesting. This is where the exhaust is gonna come out. I'm thinking I'm gonna pipe it down underneath the cab, down through here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to hear much when this thing's running and screaming. You're basically gonna be sitting right on top of this engine. It's a soft top, soft sides. This was actually a personnel carrier when I bought it. In the back here, there was a tent that went all the way up, big square and down, and these racks are actually bench seats. I have them folded up now, but bench seats will fold down. That's where the troops would sit. I decided to leave these racks and these seats in here because during hunting season, being able to carry all kinds of hunters around like that's gonna be pretty handy. We'll move over to the captain's side over here. Again, no frills, no nothing. Got the dash half ripped apart because this whole gauge cluster, I'm not gonna be able to use it. So we're doing a full delete on the gauge cluster. It's not bad. Only about 1 million little wires and doodads in there. Nope. Horn don't work. Yep, no airbag, obviously. The original transmission, I believe it was a Turbo 400 transmission, and there was no park. You just put it in neutral and pull the e-brake. That was how you set it. Here's 4-wheel drive. What's really interesting, they do have full locking differentials though, and it uses an air system. You can see that air line right there. Right there. Goes to both front and back. I forget what they call it. Maybe you could, maybe you guys that know could comment, you know, throw it in the comment section what it's called. But basically, if you find yourself stuck in a hole and you needed all 4 wheels to spin, tap on the brakes and then the throttle at the same time, basically, and it would bind and lock and all 4 wheels would dig. And I can't wait to try it out. So let's crawl under, see what we got going on underneath here. There's really, look at that frame rail. There is no rust underneath this at all, like nothing. Now, the body is not gonna rust. That's all aluminum, as what they would say in the Ford commercials, military grade aluminum. But the frame is still just standard old steel. And it is amazing. A little dirty, that's okay. So there's that Allison transmission I was telling you about, and this thing is a monster. I'll be able to do whatever I want in that thing. I can climb a tree with this rig when I'm done. One of the problems I'm gonna have to overcome is this right here. That is the transfer case, that's the end, okay? So the drive shaft goes into here, and it comes right here. This is a plastic fuel tank. Fuel tanks and drive shafts don't mix very well. So I've been trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. Am I gonna build a real extra fuel cell out of aluminum and just custom make the whole thing? I mean, this is like a 25 gallon, 30 gallon tank. There's a lot of capacity in there. So I don't want to necessarily get rid of it. Plus all my fittings for the new fuel system are already in. That's a sump style fuel outlet there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to a plastic shop nearby. And I think I'm just going to have them take this. This is where the old drive shaft went. This little cavity right here. That's where the old drive shaft went. Have them take this little, from right here, take it straight down and just take this little bubble off. And that should give me the space I need for the drive shaft to clear up to the pumpkin. Maybe a little bit right here too, but that should be a lot better. And I can still save that fuel tank. We did put an AirDog lift pump on this thing. If you guys ever heard of AirDog and diesels, oh, you need to learn yourself about them. They are amazing. It's high capacity fuel pump, and you can see it's got filters on it, so a nice spin off, spin on fuel filters. Easy to get at, and let me tell you, everything underneath this Humvee is easy to get at. It sits so high up off the ground. I mean, it's not on jack stands. Look at this. It's not on jack stands at all. That's how much room I got underneath here. I could have a dance party under here. Well, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna drop this fuel tank today so I can get that up to the shop to get it modified. I'm gonna mount the engine fans. Have to have electric engine fan. Work on the dash some more. Let's get working. Engine is successfully fanned. I'm just gonna wire it up a little later, but look at that. I even got it pretty even. Not bad for just an eyeball and full send. That's how I roll. Eyeball, full send. Got the paint zipped out. Now, I gotta try to figure out how to fit this big guy into that little guy. It's a cute little guy. There, like a glove. Right. All right. Off to get this thing modified.